So how is everyone today? I have another bicycle industry news video for you all, but I'm not gonna keep you waiting. I know everyone likes to just get to the meat and potatoes of this stuff, but if you will, first and foremost, get this hair out of my face. But if you would, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification. A lot of channels tell you to hit the bell notification so you don't miss a single thing in case you want to see all my videos, but in all honesty, it just helps the channel, it helps in the algorithm. So the first news of the day, if you have not heard, a cyclist hit a bull over the weekend during an event. Okay, so whenever I first heard this, I thought that it was a joke. All the headlines like bull attacks cyclist during event, and I'm like, what? Did they ride through a rodeo? No, let me tell you what happened. This is called the Rock Cobbler. It is a grueling event that was completed last week. The ride is limited to 500 participants. It's like 80-ish miles, somewhere between 5,500 and 6,500 feet of climbing. Peter Stetina of World Tour fame won this year's event, but he's definitely not the standout rider because that award goes to the guy that got into a fight with a bull. The way this race works and the reason it's considered grueling and difficult, typically when you do an event like this, it is a set standard course. I guess in the Rock Cobbler, from what I have read, it looks like an awesome event, but there are certain sections where you can pick your own line, and not just simply picking your own line like you would in a mountain bike race. Like, there will be wide stretches of open field, and it's like get to point A to point B. You kind of pick where you want to ride. And this particular guy chose poorly. Oh! Never, ever ride your bicycle. Like, if you want a tips and tricks video, I will do one. But my first tips and tricks is going to be, do not ever ride your bicycle directly towards a bull. Like, I don't care how competitive you are, I tend to avoid deer on my local trail, much less an animal of this magnitude. And I have no idea what he was thinking. I mean, I really hope that he wasn't injured too bad. I don't wish that on anyone, but like, holy crap. Add another rule to the racer's handbook. Never ride directly towards a bull. And I know it's a race scenario. I'm not talking bad about this guy, but that was just, it was not very smart. As I was finishing this video, I found out another cyclist decided to do the same exact thing. I have no idea what these people are thinking. The next piece of news that I wanted to discuss with you guys is the downfall of Peloton. So in my humble opinion, Peloton, they're on their way out. My major gripe with the Peloton bicycle is that after spending thousands of dollars on this thing, you can't even use it with the training app that you prefer. You have to use it with the Peloton app, which I need to look this up again, but I think it was like 50 bucks a month for the Peloton app. So it finally happened. Last quarter, Peloton netted a loss of $439 million. This sparked the CEO, John Foley, and the president of the company, William Lynch, to step aside. And now a former executive of Spotify and Netflix is actually taking over the head position, going by the name of Barry McCarthy. Because of this, Barry came out with a restructuring plan that was going to streamline Peloton and save them money. We all know what that means, don't we? So Peloton laid off 2,800 employees, and they halted all talks of domestic production of their indoor bikes. The only silver lining, I guess, is that they gave anyone who was laid off a year subscription to the Peloton app, which, you know, that was extremely nice of them. And look, when the Pelotons were a hot commodity, they cost something like 2,500 bucks, which is pretty expensive. And to me, it is outrageous to spend that much on something like a glorified spin bike, because the nicest indoor smart trainer can be used with any training platform, and you can get a real bicycle for the same price that you would pay for this Peloton. So Zwift is my preferred training platform of choice, and it's $15 a month, so it's a fraction of the cost. You can get a Tax Neo, which now I think they retail for like $1,500, and then a bike for about 2,500 bucks. You can have the nicest training platform out there and you can have a new bicycle you can go ride outdoors as well. That was when I kind of thought the whole Peloton thing was a bit of a ripoff, but then whenever their sales started declining, they dropped the price of their bikes by $1,000, which is good for prospective buyers, but I would be PO'd if I had just purchased one at the original price. And lastly, there are rumors of Nike, Apple, and Amazon all wanting to purchase Peloton at the much lower value, so I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye on this. When the sales started declining and the stock prices were coming down quite fast for Peloton, I did think that another company would scoop them up, because I could see this being like an Amazon service or something. But again, my biggest gripe with the Peloton, you have to have the Peloton app for you to really get any big benefit out of it. And that Peloton app gives you the Peloton training platform. From what I've seen of that Peloton training platform, it brings spin class into your home. Spin class to me keeps you honest because you're riding with people, so that's what is the cool thing about spin class, maybe. But Zwift is so much more immersive, so much better, and you're on your actual bicycle, shifting real gears. That's the only way to go, in my opinion, if you're gonna ride indoors. So I know just as a whole, the indoor training segment, it's not on the huge upwards trajectory that it was when Zwift first became a thing. It's starting to slow down, starting to taper off. It's still gonna be a steady seller, but it's not a rocket ship like it was a few years ago. That's another facet of this. So keep an eye on it. I'm curious who's going to end up buying Peloton. I believe that will happen. So in continuing along, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. If you've missed my last couple bicycle industry update videos, make sure you go back and watch them. The big news as of late is Specialized going consumer direct. Sticking with giving you guys all the info that I know about that. Specialized has bought another bike chain. This is a smaller bike chain. They have 3 stores, but it is called Grey Goat Cycles? Grey Goat Bicycles? Grey Goat Bicycles. This is definitely turning into, from my perspective, like a Trek versus Specialized. It seems like Trek will buy some bike shops and then Specialized will rebut with more bike shops that they're purchasing. So I'm really curious how this is all gonna turn out. My thing is though, this whole business model of buying a bunch of stores and trying to be a national chain in the bike shop world doesn't ever seem to work out. I mean, look what happened with Performance. So I'm not in the national bike chain market. I just know what I've seen in the past and it doesn't seem to ever work. So let's see what happens. And lastly, something that hits really close to my heart is the UCI. We're gonna talk about them banning the use of drones in any race, which I think is stupid. And they did it in the most UCI fashion possible. They banned the use of drones in the middle of a bike race while the drones were in use. Before the race actually started, the UCI Regulation 1.2.065 stated that drones cannot be within 10 meters of the course and cannot fly directly over the course itself. So let's view some of the footage and actually see if that happened. All right, I will admit the drone pilot should probably at least be fined or something. The shots were amazing, don't get me wrong, but he did break the rules, so you break the rules, you gotta pay the consequences, whatever. But just because one pilot broke some rules and got some good footage, to ban all drones, like that's a slap in the viewer's face, in my opinion. They pulled the drone in the middle of Jeremy Bowers, like talking about, look how awesome these shots are. It's so cool. And they pulled it like him talking mid-sentence, which is hilarious. But being a professional is all about being entertaining, in my opinion. If nobody watched the race, then there wouldn't be a race. So the races have to be entertaining. Lucinda Brand even put out a poll, she's a professional cyclist that was in the race, where 96% of people said they wanted to see more drone footage like that. The media has been talking about potentially replacing chase helicopters and motorcycle cameramen with drones. When they started making those statements, I was just waiting on the UCI to restrict the use of drones. I tried to dig pretty deep and see if the UCI had any reason to stop the use of drones, and they said it's because it's unsafe. I can guarantee that drone that was on that cyclocross course is way safer than the motorcycle cameraman. I would much rather have a drone run me over than a motorcycle. So to me, if you're gonna ban drones, you need to ban every freaking form of camera out there, or figure out how to be progressive in this field, be able to use drones, show people some cool footage, you figure it out. Don't just ban them, man. Let me know what you guys think. I love doing these videos because I think about this and talk to myself about all of the news that's going on. I know this news was a little bit more fun news to talk about besides the whole Peloton thing, but let me know what you guys think. I will continue to do some bicycle industry updates, and yep, I'll see everyone in the next one. The next one is going to be an epic race video, so stay tuned for that. Later.